Hello and welcome to Miniature Adventures. I'm Big Lee, and today I wanted to follow on from last week's subject and talk about how to build better wargaming blogs. So today's video follows on from last week when I asked if wargaming blogs were dying out, and I'll try and put a link up here for you if you want to go and watch that first. And my conclusion was that there's a lot of competition out there, but I didn't think that wargaming blogs were necessarily dying out. Just we were changing the format that we were working in, because there's a lot of other social media that's competing for our time, both in terms of creating content for it and reading it. But I do still think that there is a role for blogs within the wargaming community. So today I'm going to ask, what is the future of wargaming blogs, and can joined up socials be the answer? So there are a lot of social media platforms that are used by wargamers. You know, Facebook groups, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, even TikTok and Instagram for those younger ones out there. And the fact that you're watching this video suggests that you already have a certain amount of interest in social media engagement. Many wargamers use multiple platforms to share and chat the content that they are creating. But are you using those platforms in a coordinated way? Does your online content present a unified brand that is recognisably you and your hobby interests? And if not, then maybe this is the discussion for you. So why is brand important? As wargamers, we're not necessarily selling something. For most of us, it's about sharing our love of the hobby. We do it to meet like-minded gamers, build communities and around our common interests. But it's all for nothing, of course, if no one's reading your stuff. Having a consistent brand, I feel, across your socials, whatever they are, helps build recognition and attract readers. Followers in one social media are more likely to also be followers on other platforms if they recognise your brand, for want of a better phrase. And this can be done in a number of ways. I try to use the same avatar picture, for instance, regardless of which social media platform I'm using. I've devised a simple logo which I can put on my videos, but I'll also repeat elsewhere as well. I can use watermarks and channel icons on some of the things that I do, again, so that when they're shared, that common brand, if you like, is there. And of course, being a constant narcissist, my face is on everything, so there you go, my brand. And I then try to link all of those different socials, those different mediums that I use together, so that users can, surf or across all of those different social media platforms, discovering content along the way, and those joined up bits of social media boost each other in terms of the readership and the number of people that are bouncing from one article to the next. So now we get to the bit that I'm calling tickling the algorithm. A strong blog post can really drive readership and subscribers for a blog, and popular blog posts can be sustained for years by readers from other social media platforms. I've got articles going back 8, 9, 10 years that are still generating quite a lot of interest, because there's lots of links out there for them, lots of other ways people can find that blog post or that particular piece of information that I put on my blog. So I've always thought that it's very important that your social media accounts are linked in some way. So if you write a blog, make sure you share to all of your other social accounts if you can, to forums and groups where necessary. Just the act of pushing your feed out to other sites that you control creates backlinks that improve the discoverability of your original article, of what you've created. It's one of the key metrics that many social media algorithms use when deciding what ranks highest in search results, for instance. So the more backlinks that get created, maximizes the number of people who are going to see your content, and in turn who will like, subscribe and share and so on, and create more backlinks and push that article up search results so it gets seen by even more people. And this may all sound a bit like marketing spin, which it is to a certain extent, but the point is what's the point of writing great posts if no one's reading them? So one tip I wanted to give was I would recommend trying to find a feed burner. There's lots of free examples and some subscriber based ones out there. I won't go through all of them. I think I've mentioned them in some earlier videos. They're great ways of sharing social media content across multiple platforms. So they basically take the feed from your blog, for instance, and automatically post it to Twitter and to Facebook and wherever. And then I can go through and manually post articles to particular groups or forums. So that I avoid carpet bombing them with all the mundanity that I might write. In some places I want everything to be repeated, but in others, like a particular Facebook group for instance, or a particular chat on Twitter or whatever, I can post just something that is relevant to that group rather than everything. Another thing that you can do to keep your blog relevant and to give it a purpose is to make it unique from the other social media. So in other words, you want to try and offer something that other formats just don't do, and then you can share that link out to those other formats and people can click on that and come back to your blog. So that may be writing longer, more in-depth articles where you go into a lot more detail than you would in, for instance, a series of tweets or a short article on Facebook. But also you can share many more photographs and graphics, and maybe even share files with people. So if you've got a particular supplement or a freebie that you want to give away related to a particular game, you can do that a lot easier through your blog than you can through say a Facebook group, for instance. And certainly you can put as many features as you want on there on a blog post. So you make although you're going to share that link and maybe a video, for instance, you can put extra material on your blog that you just couldn't do perhaps in other formats. So try and find ways of using your blog in a way that is different from things like Instagram or Facebook groups or YouTube, so that there continues to be a place for them. Because as I've said before, you end up with a back catalogue of articles that last for years. And if they're well written and they're good and they're relevant and they've got great photographs, they will continue to be of interest to gamers who haven't even joined the hobby yet. So therefore, as I've said multiple times, I do think blogs do have a future for that very reason, because they're much more long-lasting than the perhaps more ephemeral nature of other social media platforms. But I'm going to throw the question out to you. What do you do to keep your blog alive if you're still writing blogs now and have done for years? What do you do? Have you done anything in particular to keep that blog alive and keep interest in it? So as always, please join the conversation in the comments below or over on my blog, Big Lee's Miniature Adventures. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and share. And of course, if you want to get weekly updates for this content, please hit the bell notification icon. So until next week, keep safe, keep gaming, and of course, keep rolling high.